Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, talking fishing. If it's facts about fishing that you want to know, then tune in, folks, cause this is the show. We'll show you all the right bait to use, so sit right back, you got nothing to lose. Doesn't really matter if it's trout or carp, flathead, marlin or a gummy shark. Listen to the guys and you can't go wrong. They'll be talking about fishing till the cows come home. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And welcome everyone to Talking Fishing, a big show coming your way tonight. Catch of the week, 5 species that are all on fire in Port Phillip and Western Port and the coast of Victoria. Mailbags coming up, a few really good mailbags tonight. Hotspots, and we also discuss cod season as it opens this Saturday. And ads, apart from the terrible weather that we've had,
I know.
although every time the sun comes out it's got a bit of strength, but it's this time of year, terrible weather.
Yep.
But we need the rain, don't we?
We do need the rain, and hopefully it's going to the right areas. But before we get into that, Dave, I've got something I need to talk about really, really quickly. And it needs to be done at the top of the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
To the boys at Highcon Constructions.
Who?
Highcon Constructions, write that down.
Yeah.
They've been badgering me for weeks to give them a shout out.
Yeah.
So it's your 30 seconds of fame, boys. Highcon Constructions.
How much are they paying for this?
Hey, don't worry about that.
Oh,
they're good boys, and they're supporters of the show and watch us for a long time. So tip of the hat to you fellas. Welcome to Talking
There you
Fishing.
go, Ed's getting a flick next week. Unpaid sponsorship. Trelly,
Yes.
you getting all this rain up your way?
I haven't been up my way. I've been out of the sort of town.
You've come
for a
from
bit,
Canberra today, haven't you?
Drove down as we just drove into town right now.
Yeah.
So we had after meeting with the federal politicians up there at breakfast this morning.
Yep.
And we talked to the Minister for Agriculture and Water and Fisheries on both sides of politics, and trying to build some relationships.
We had a political
there.
after breakfast this morning, is that right?
We did, yes, exactly, yeah. So, trying to build relationships, as we do in Victoria here, to get some better outcomes for recreational fishing.
Dr. Paul Hamer, we've had him on the show a couple of times. He said a year ago that the recipe for a beautiful snapper spawning and a very successful snapper spawning is the right mix of water temperature, rain coming down the Yarra, and all those microorganisms.
The microorganisms.
Yeah, or whatever they are, those little
ones.
bugs, you know. And I reckon the amount of rain we've had in the last week or so
hope it's come at the right
been
time.
a perfect recipe for snapper.
You're right.
Hope so, because we had a perfect recipe a couple of years back. Last year?
That's
right. Last year was the biggest spawning season.
And that was
record
the freshwater flush too, wasn't it?
Absolutely it was, yeah. So
We're good for the future.
Fingers crossed, everyone.
Make sure it's after cod opening, but
how's cod opening looking?
Really good. I tell you what, the streams up our way and the rivers like the Goulburn and that are just perfect. I can't get over how good it looks, and we're getting great reports.
Good.
Okay.
Really good.
Yeah, people out
So
fishing already.
bycatch.
Bycatch.
Fishing for yellers.
Training. Training for yellow belly.
Folks, let's have a look at what's been caught by the people at home. It's time for Catch of the Week.
Catch of the Week, brought to you by Shimano.
Let's kick it off with the young fellas, boys. The smile on the face of young men that are catching these fish. Max Mulday is the first one. 4.8 kilo snapper off the corals.
Good fish, Maxie.
And he's just got that smile on his face
does.
going, oh, I've killed it today. I've
nailed it.
I've got a nice
Killed it
snapper.
today.
I mean, that's a beautiful looking snapper.
It is a great fish.
Isn't it?
Good size too.
Snapper's got that look on his face too.
You're like, I'm done.
Can I just defeat it? Bit like checkmate.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Can I just say, how good is it to see a young man
Yeah.
go out and catch his first of a species and start with absolute thumpers?
Yeah, that's right.
No, because what you're going to see next is 11-year-old Jet Van. 11-year-old Jet Van started his whiting career off Crib Point with a couple of 45 centimetre.
That's nice.
You've clocked it,
Young
Jet.
Young Jet, can I say a few words to you, young man? Please enter the Whiting Challenge competition, which entries are already open. Even though it's in March. Don's from Western Port Angling Club has put out the news that it's already open. But young Jet, he's got a career ahead of him.
Yeah,
he needs to repeat that because and I'm sure he's had a.
Well, he's only just getting started.
Yeah, I'm sure he's had a taste of those King George Whiting, but they are just absolutely thumpers.
Yeah. He's probably sitting back going, "What's next?"
Yeah, yeah.
I've done
Anyway,
that.
Clocked it. Next.
Well done, young man. The other species in Western Port that's absolutely firing at the moment is the gummy shark, and none other than Sean Ferdier aboard Think Big Fishing Charters has absolutely been killing the gummies.
That's right. The gummies are sneaking under the radar a little bit, as most species do in the middle of snapper season. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you
Now,
what,
that's not the biggest one he's got this week.
Oh, hello.
It's a cracker photo, but
Yeah.
he has got some crackers this week. I think they had a three-way hookup last.
Is that rare for gummies? Like to get a multi
so.
rod hookup? Because you don't really
think so.
it's not like a snapper, is it?
No.
Do they just hang around together?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Sean, what he needs to do is start sharing his GPS marks.
Oh, it's only fair. I
We
think.
tried to get it legislated. They got the arse on the weekend, didn't they? Hey?
Got the arse on it.
We're not, well, he did. I mean, Matthew Guy promised to legislate that Sean Ferdier would have to declare his GPS marks if he caught gummy sharks.
Now he doesn't have to, does he?
Doesn't have to now. So well done, Sean. I tell you what, he's on fire.
Yeah.
So here we go. Another species. This is number 4. The salmon.
Yeah.
Now they've been good all winter, but the
That's right.
salmon.
It's still
This
on.
is off Phillip Island, Marlon Henry.
Yeah.
That one went 3.5 kilos.
Okay, so we know where all the big sambo's are at now.
Yeah.
That's
And that's not the only one he got that day. I'll
That's
tell you
awesome.
what, Marlon's just.
they're real salmon,
Marlon's
aren't they?
catching salmon.
Yeah, they're real salmon, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, they are thumpers,
fish.
so absolutely good. All right, let's head into Port Phillip Bay now, and the snapper are on fire. Noel Pixton. Now, I reckon you might have awarded this man third prize in a snapper competition recently, Ads.
Oh, I did too.
You did too?
I
Oh,
did
Noel?
too. I recognised the face. I wonder
Yeah,
where that was
yeah.
from. Good on you, Noel.
Can't forget a
That's
face
probably,
like that, can
that's
you?
Yeah.
That's probably the third place fish.
What?
That's probably the fish that got him.
It
to the
was.
spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. We're
Good
just a bit
fish.
late. We're running behind because of all the political crap
that's
we're
all right.
being banging on about.
And we get back to the
So,
fish.
but on your Noel, the chairman of the Future Fish Foundation, Michael Buxton, who's put a massive effort in over the last few months with getting some really good promises to election commitments and that. But Michael Buxton just went out on Sunday morning, celebrated the snapper, celebrated fishing in Victoria.
That's a good fish.
That is a nice
That's
fish.
a
Thank you
nice
very
snapper.
much.
Yeah,
Eh?
that's a good looking snapper.
Tell you what, that'd put a smile on
Yeah.
on anyone's dial. It's absolutely beautiful. Let's head over to the western side of Port Phillip Bay now, and Jamie Pring got a 75 centimetre snapper off Clifton Springs Trelly,
Yeah. Some nice fish coming out of that area.
out of the Tacklewood Geelong area.
That's right, yeah, they're going quite
Trelly's
well
Geelong,
down there.
whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, you call it what you want. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But some good fish being caught down there.
Yeah.
All around that area, in the Cryo Bay and that sort of area. Yeah.
Not the only species, but we'll talk about that in Hotspots
We will.
later on. So, and not the only barrel caught on the weekend, because lots of people went down to
This is
Portland and
interesting.
Port Mac, and we could have put half a dozen photos up, but it is snapper season, whiting, gummies, salmon, all that sort of stuff. But have a look at this, Trent Nelson, 122 kilos of southern bluefin
That's
tuna
a
out of
big
Portland.
tuna. That'd be nice
That's
if
a
they
big
made their
fish,
way down
isn't
this way, wouldn't it?
Oh well, give it a few weeks.
Might do.
I reckon 3 weeks, maybe
Yeah.
the week before Christmas.
Might do.
There will probably be barrels off Cape Shank.
It'd be worth looking, that's for
Yep.
sure. And if they're not there, hopefully the Kings
Is
are.
that one of the biggest ones we've had on the show? Was 136.
Oh,
Oh,
we've had
no,
some
they've been
stonkers
bigger.
over the years.
Yeah, 160.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, that's an epic.
160,
That's
that's
an
a good
epic
fish,
fish.
yeah.
Oh, it's a mad
Yeah.
fish.
But you get these couple of runs a year, and this
Yeah,
time of the year
They've been a
often.
bit patchy this year, haven't they? They come on for a few days
Yeah,
and
I
then
It's
they're
the- I
gone.
think it's
and
probably more the weather, isn't it?
Yeah,
You
it's probably not a
probably
bad
get
point.
out there and get,
Yep.
get those fish.
Yeah, but certainly some barrel tuna. They've been from
Yeah.
Port Mac. They're in
They're there.
Portland.
Yep.
There is no doubt they head this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if anyone was going to head out, in the next few weeks,
Worth looking.
you'll probably find them out the front of Port Phillip Heads.
That's right.
Probably find them down Cape Shank, but
Yep.
they won't be
Probably
there.
won't
They won't be there if Justin goes out fishing and says they're not there because he doesn't catch one. Because what Justin says is right. Justin says they're not there because he doesn't catch one. Then Justin, he's right. They're not there, but they will be there. If you'd like to send in a pic of your catch of the week, this is what you have to do.
If you want to be like me and have your photo on TV, email your fishing pic to info@ifish.com.au.
Yeah, I wanna go fishing.
And coming up next, Fisheries News, we're going to tell you how to handle your cod. Next on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
We know what you'd rather be doing.
We know what you've really got in mind.
We know you'd rather be out fishing, and today's the day you're gonna wear the line. 'Cause every day's a good day. Stop wishing. Every day's a chance to drift away. Drift away. Every day's a good day for fishing. See it down and tackle world today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing. We're talking fishing.
Live from the studios of Channel 31 Melbourne, it's now time for some very fishy news.
All right, let's get into a bit of news now, boys. There's plenty of news happening. I tell you what, let's kick off with the first one. The fads are back.
Giddy up.
Yeah, the fads are back, Charlie.
Beautiful.
Yep. Listen to this. The VFA science team and contract divers recently reattached the 5 fish aggregation devices, which is FADS for short, to Torquay's offshore reef. We've got some photos here during a favourable weather window. That's when you go swimming, Trelly. So there you go. Fisheries boat, out it goes with some FADS on the back.
These are good things.
They're good things. We've got plenty of photos here. This time they come with an upgrade. Flashes and teasers.
Oh.
I can't quite see them. I think they're in the last photo. But the flashes and teasers have been attached to 2 of these FADs to enhance. Now, they're tied to the artificial reef off Torquay, right? And have a look at that. They've got flashes and teasers off them. These bright, reflective and shiny objects are irresistible to kingfish. Last year, fishers reported several catches of kingfish near the FADs and snapper from the reef. With the added fish bling, you can look forward to a fantastic season on the Kings this summer. That's it's corny. Fads on your fisheries. There you go. So there you go. Fads back.
Did Travis put that one in?
He would have. Yeah. All right. Next one over here. I know we've run this the last couple of weeks, but it's important because if you want to have your say about fishing, then you should jump at this opportunity. Volunteers needed for recreational fishing licence fees advisory group. The Victorian Fisheries Authority is seeking nominations from keen recreational fishers to join a working group that provides advice to government on how best to spend fishing licence fees. All the money raised from fishing licences goes back directly to improving recreational fishing in Victoria. This means more fish stocked, better fishing access and healthier rivers and bays. Victorian Fisheries Authority Chief Executive Officer Travis Dowling said the Recreational Fishing Grants Working Group consisted of 8 recreational fishers appointed for a 3-year term who collectively brought together a range of fishing knowledge and experience from across the state. These volunteers review and prioritise project submissions from angling clubs, community groups, councils and government agencies, Mr Dowling said. And if you want to join this committee, there's all the details up there. Nominations for the working group close on the 30th of November, which I think is this Friday.
That's right, yep.
For an expression of interest form, visit vfa.vic.gov. That's all up there on your screen there, and give them a ring if you want to too. So we'll put that up on our social media, but it's a very important committee, and if you want to be part of it, be part of it because you'll make a difference. So, all right, next one. The Murray Codference is on in a few weeks, Trelly. Oh, a few weeks? When is it? It's Sunday, the 9th of December, which is a couple of weeks. And it's at the East Bank Conference Centre in Shepparton. It's a free event. Registering helps plan catering that will include lunch and refreshments, all free for attendees. Now, what's going on there? There's
lots.
There's heaps.
Who's on?
Well, we've got Carl Jochimson now. Carl left Australia, sold everything. He sold the cat. Right, he sold his everything to go to the US and fish the pro anglers over there, circuit over there, and he's been the most successful Aussie angler over there. So he'll be at the conference.
He's talking there.
He's one of the talkers, guest speakers, key speakers. Lubin Pfeiffer on cracking big Murray Cod. So if you want to come along and also get the bit of experience and get the know-how and lay down on that sort of thing, he'll be there. Lubin will be there. Bill Glasson from Victorian Native Fish Revolution. Now, Bill's been around. He does the Freshwater Fishing magazine, as you know, and instrumental in a lot of the stuff that's going on over a period of time. Robbie Alexander, who's a really big favourite of the kids. He's a big kid himself. Robbie, go on you, Robbie. Love your work. So he'll be there. Stephen Booth for Golden Perch Tournament Techniques. As far as the techniques, lots of things. Victorian Native Fish Recovery for the last 20 years. Macquarie Perch Recovery, next big opportunity. So that's another one. And the Native Fish Horizons, Rocklands and Beyond and Fisheries Mega Northern Native Hatchery Plans.
So it's a pretty big event.
So it's a really good event. Yeah, you'll learn heaps.
Now, Trelly.
Yep.
Next story. Have you ever caught a Murray cod that's been deeply hooked?
Yep.
You have?
Yep.
Well, never fear. If the hook can't be removed easily, it's best to simply...
You mean, oh, that hurt?
Yeah, no, it's best to simply cut the line.
That is.
As close to the hook as you can. Then release the cod quickly. Now look at these photos because a fisheries officer came across this. Over time the hook will rust out or the fish will pass the hook, as one of our officers observed here. You can reduce the chance of deep hooking Murray cod by using circle hooks and remembering to actively monitor your bait fishing rods. Hooks are cheap, fish are not. And you just see by those photos there.
Yeah.
Now, Trelly.
That's it, yeah.
Let's get serious. On the show, you've eaten bait before.
Yeah.
Really?
Anyone have a go at this?
What do you got?
Well, we'll give you a swallow hook. See how it goes.
Oh, swallow hook.
Good luck trying to pass the
Swallow
circle
hook.
hook.
No, we want to see how... No, could we do that? In fact, there was a story in the Herald Sun this morning. I don't know if you saw that, but some scientists swallowed Lego and they measured the average time that it took to pass the Lego, which was 1.8 days.
Yeah, it was Mr. Potato Head.
Would you be game, live on television here, to swallow a fish hook and we'll measure how long it takes to pass?
I'll swallow a lot of things, but I don't know about a fish hook. I haven't got the same regurgitation system as a Murray cod, probably.
Well,
I think.
What do you mean regurgitation? That didn't come out the front end. That came out the back end.
It looked like
that's not a problem.
It looked like the whole front of the hook had been cut off too. That barb would be a bit nasty to pass.
Well, it depends on the acid.
Circle hook would be a no good.
Depends on the acid in your stomach, and I reckon you'd have a fair bit of acid.
There's a fair bit of all sorts of things in my
Well, you want to have a go at it or not?
Oh, God, what do you got?
Well, you've eaten pilchards and squid and all that. No, just... If we get a hook, would you...
Yeah, get it.
Good? Oh, we haven't got one. No, I'm not going to do it.
Got a couple of triples here.
No deal.
Yeah, no deal.
No deal. That's
I
it.
wouldn't do it too. I thought you'd... Yeah.
But that is correct. What you showed there is very correct because we have caught Murray cod, and that hook, the point actually, you think that point we go down, it actually sort of corrodes it when the stomach acids and bits and pieces. We have caught a lot of cod over the period of time, and they are actually they're on their way out. And I think they don't feed for a while and they get pretty thin, but they do actually pass them. Yeah, pretty good.
Okay. Well, the best thing would be to go to Macca's and that'd help pass a bit quicker, wouldn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
Coffee in the morning.
But it's interesting.
Banana sandwiches.
And the thing is, the reason why we know that they're like that because we've actually caught them. So we've caught them, they're eating. And they've got that, they're trying to pass the hook, so they're obviously still eating through the process.
All right, now, let's get serious. We're going to show a little video now Fisheries have put together about how to handle your cod. Have a look at this. This is how to handle your cod.
Cods.
The Murray cod's our largest and most iconic native freshwater angling species. And the good news is that our Murray cod fisheries are getting better all the time. This is because we're stocking more cod than ever, doing more river restoration and have tight fishing regulations. We're tackling illegal fishing and angler behaviour is definitely changing. The slot limit that was introduced back in 2014 means that all big breeding cod over 75 centimetres must now be released. Big Murray cod are very vulnerable to poor handling practices. And the Cod Handling Campaign is a combined effort between the Victorian Fisheries Authority, VR Fish and Native Fish Australia. It's all about helping teach anglers to successfully release cod back so the fishery continues to improve into the future. The advice in the video has been drawn from expert veterinarian advice, published science and practical observation by many leading Murray cod anglers. Here are some helpful tips and handling practices that we want anglers to adopt and promote. To land a big Murray cod, remove hooks, photograph, revive and release it successfully requires careful planning and the right gear. Good organisation will ensure a quick release, reduces stress on the fish and maximises the chance of that fish surviving. To ensure the survival of your cod, you need to be organised. make sure you've got your gloves, your pliers and your hook removal devices, your measuring mat, and of course the camera. And to get that fish in the boat, have that net ready. You can also rest the fish in the net next to the boat. A fish can't breathe out of water, so after an exhausting fight, they need water and time to recover. If possible, keep your cod in the water at all times. If safe to do so, get in the water and get a photo of that prize catch for a great action shot. If you decide to lift the fish out of the water, do it gently and quickly. Aim for 30 seconds or less of air exposure. If lifting a cod, support the whole fish and don't hang the fish vertically. That can damage the spine and the gill structure. Protect the skin, don't place the fish on dry, sharp or hot surfaces. Revive the fish slowly to allow water to flow through the mouth and over the gills. Don't move the fish forwards and backwards in the water. During the fight, big cod get exhausted, so by choosing the appropriate tackle, not too light, you'll reduce fight times, reduce stress, and see the fish release in far better condition. The use of bait for Murray cods, an exceptionally popular and very effective way to catch them. By using correct bait fishing techniques, which includes the use of big circle hooks and fishing with a tight line, you'll prevent deep hooking of the fish. During the spring, when they're on the nest, give them a rest. Be mindful that release survival is lower in hot weather and warm, shallow water. If we do our bit as recreational anglers, we'll be ensuring the Murray cod remains a viable fishing species well into the future.
There you go, care for your cod, because this Saturday, Trelly, it all starts, doesn't it?
That's right. We're in the starters blocks. Ring the bell. Friday
Cod
night.
season is on.
That's on.
Up.
Go.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
We're going to talk more about cod very, very shortly. Product of the week, it's all about the cod. Next on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
Good morning, spotters. Stephanie speaking.
Product of the week, brought to you by Tackle World.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And welcome back to Talking Fishing. It is cod opening this Saturday. The Murray cod is open season, Trelly, in all the rivers, all the lakes, except for Lake Eildon that's been open all year round. It's open and everything's open. And Ads, you got some critters that you've brought along tonight.
That's
what it looks like.
That's
Critters.
right. Hey, in the off season, we have seen an influx of new cod lollies, and there are some absolutely beautiful lures on the market now. We've seen a lot of changes in size. You'll notice lures are getting very, very big because, Trelly, if we've learnt something over the last few cod seasons, is that there is no such thing as a lure too big to catch cod.
Exactly.
So it would be wrong if I didn't start with anything but a surface lure, as that is the big in thing for cod at the moment. And this is Joe the Rat. Codference is the manufacturer. Now, we've noticed through the store, if something looks like a mouse,
remotely,
it just gets eaten.
That's like real. Look at the ears on it.
Yeah, it's got the tail as well.
Can we get that close up?
Yeah,
have a
there
look
we
at
go.
that.
You got the
tail, the ears.
They look amazing, don't they? So that big, I guess, bib on the front, Trelly, gives it a little bit of a paddle. It's a bit of a waddle, and you've also got the joint at the back. So that actually looks like a rat. Or a water rat swimming through the water, and cod can't resist it.
They do. That picks up a couple of things, a lot of water pressure on the front, and distributes that, each slap of that wing. Yeah. And so it'll give a noise effect, but also gives a vibration effect through the water.
One of the reasons that this lure is so popular amongst cod fishermen is it's not too heavy. Like you could cast that with a conventional bait caster outfit without having to go to these 9.5 foot, 8.5 foot big swim bait rods. So for the legendary kayak fishermen out there, they can cast that from the kayak with their shorter bait casters and still get the action and the required casting distance.
Exactly.
You don't have to go to big heavy gear.
Would you fish at night with that or during the day?
Either or either. Night, I think, is extremely underrated.
You got to think that's
underrated.
Yeah, you got to think that that's up there. So if you get a full moon or a lighter night, that will silhouette.
Plus the amount of noise that thing makes.
I was more thinking about the kayaker get lost at night and there's one less we have to worry about. But anyway, just
one less cod you'll have to worry about because the kayak has slayed them.
You put a paddle like that in the front of his kayak.
Trelly, I'm going to throw over to you for the next one because I know this is something that you had a huge hand in developing.
Yes.
And how am I going to give you a good look at the size of this thing? A standard stubby.
Yeah.
That is a really big cod lure.
We're going to zoom in on that. Have a look at that.
Look at that. That's a big cod lure. Now, Trelly, run us through that because I know this is something that you had a lot of time, a lot of effort developing and something you're quite passionate about.
Yeah, so this one here was actually developed by Graham Sanders, who does a number of lures from Shepherd, and he's a terrific guy. We came up with the same lure, slightly smaller, and then we spotted the need for a bigger lure. So a lot of people look at lures, and like you say, we're all going bigger. This lure has got it's got a great big wide paddle to it, or a wide swing to it. So very much right down the neck of the native. Yeah, oh yes, yeah. This has got a system in it. This particular lure is really unique because it's got a system in it with the weight system front to back, like a saltwater lure, and it's one of the it's probably the only lure that's made up like saltwater. So when you cast this, the little beads at the back roll to the back, and it gives you direction. So when it casts, it goes where it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wire all the way, Trelly?
Wire all the way through. So your wire is actually wired to your body, to your first point at the front of you. So your fish aren't going to get away even if they smash that.
So it's a cracker. So old mate the lures, make sure you ask for those because they have been designed specifically for our waters and our fish. So that's a cracker. I had to include this because I think it is one of the best looking lures on the market. This is the Jackal Megalo Dunkel.
What?
Megalo Dunkel by Jackal.
He won the Nobel Prize in 1953.
I was going to say, it's a mouthful.
Dumble. Is that what you said? MacGyver Dumble?
Megalo Dunkel.
Same thing.
It is a really big piece of plastic with a ginormous tail, and all the rigging, all the weight is internal inside the head there, so there's not much you need to do to it. I would say though, Trelly, it's in need of a massive upgrade of hooks because that is actually designed for bass, and Murray Cod will sort those hooks out. There's heaps of rigging options with these.
Does the blue show up as looking at, I don't know, in the close?
It's kind of UV.
No, you can roll it.
Look at that blue. Look at that blue.
It is beautiful. So that's the Megalo Dunkel. Really good for casting amongst structure, and you can pause it. You can add chin weights and bits and pieces too.
Does that sink on its own?
It does, So it's all forward weighted, and I said you can add chin weights and bits and pieces too. There's a little toe point under there which the bottom set of hooks sits on. You can add a chin weight to get a little bit of extra depth out of it too, but it's well and truly heavy enough. You'll struggle casting that with conventional bait caster gear. You'll probably need something in the swim bait vicinity there. So that's an absolute cracker. This is amazing.
Is that called Kermit the Frog, like Joe?
Freddy the Frog.
Freddy the Frog.
Freddy the Frog. This is made by Western. We've had their lures on the show before because they are one of the most realistic looking lures on the market. This just looks unreal. It's got these big gangly legs which once they get moving you just can't stop it. I would upgrade the hardware again, and you can cast it with conventional tackle. It's very quite light. It's that straight down bib. I guess it's more of a wake bait than a surface lure.
You can work it both ways, really.
That's right. Pushes a lot of water, but if you drop the rod tip and get a bit of a tip, you can get it to dive.
Yes.
So very versatile lure. Whether it's amongst lily pads, whether it's skipping it under trees, they're going to end up in most cod fishermen's tackle box because they look amazing.
Yeah, they work really well around structure too. So you can cast it out and you can actually work it down a little bit as a wake bait.
Yeah.
And then let it rise and then work it up over a bit of structural log and then down the other side.
Yeah, that's
good stuff.
Beautiful lures.
Would you, if you're working it at night, Trelly, would you, like in your tinny or whatever, would you be going ribbit at the same time? Like,
I'd knee deep.
Well, let's just say you can.
Most kayak fishermen would probably
Probably
carry on
cast
like
out
that.
lenses.
Speaking of kayak fishermen, I think this lure is actually made for kayak fishermen. This is a brand new lure by Jackson. We've seen the Jackson brand explode onto the Australian market in the last few years.
Yeah.
They now enter the swim bait market with the little Jackson Primal. Have a look at that for a brown trout imitation.
Yep.
At places
awesome.
like Eildon, this is going
mad
to
good.
slay Murray Cod.
Yeah.
And there's lots of things you can do with them, but
Hardware strong on that one.
it is.
Yep.
It is. I would still look at an upgrade, but be careful with something like this because going too heavy in your hooks can sometimes really alter the action on it. So
That's right.
So keep an eye on it. You can muck around with hanging assists and bits and pieces. I know that's huge amongst the cod fraternity. They hang assist hooks off the back for better hookup.
Yep.
But casting that in amongst the sticks or up onto shallow flats at Eildon is going to dominate.
Yeah, that really is suited for like the Upper Murray.
Yeah.
Like the ovens where you got clear water. New England area, if you're going to travel to the top of New South Wales, those sorts of things. Probably not so much down in the bottom of the Goulburn where it's a bit murky and muddy and that type of
Would
thing.
you work that fast?
No, you wouldn't work that fast. What you do with that type of thing is you actually put it in the water next to the boat or off the bank, and you play with it until you get that right little speed to get that wiggle. And if you tweak that forward and throw your rod tip back, you'll probably get that lure to turn around. Yeah, that's just
They're an amazing lure. The finish on them is unbelievable and very much tailor-made to our systems with the trout patterns and the redfin patterns. There's little roach patterns and bits and pieces. I think we're going to see this feature in a lot of catches because it is versatile. It's not a big swim bait. So again, you can cast it with conventional tackle. You'll see it Eildon, obviously with a trout population, but as you said, those skinnier rivers, especially those clear water rivers, they are going to perform
something you should
really
have
well.
in your tackle box as one of those little backup. Oh, that just suits that. Look at that hole. That suits that sort of lure.
That's right. So that is some of the new stuff on the cod market for the upcoming cod season. There's so many different colours in these things, and there's often numerous sizes. There's so much to choose from, and it is so cool because cod lures would have to be one of my favourite, I guess, to look at because they're big, they're pretty, and they work an absolute treat.
And they're changing all the time. It's like a lolly shop.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just there's just so much change. It's just coming through. It's just
As we
new
learn
stuff
more
all the
about
time. It's really good.
Just a reminder that cod season does open in all rivers and all lakes this Saturday, which also coincides, Trelly, with December the 1st, which is the start of summer. Now, can we just go to camera 4 for a minute to the people in the... Why the hell did you light the fire tonight? It's so goddamn hot in here and you've lit the fire.
Yeah.
Let's go to an ad break. We're going to put the fire out because goddamn Trelly, it's so hot in here. Coming up next, Kramer's Mailbag. Going to look at a little bit of politics after this too. Next on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
We know what you'd rather be doing.
We know what you've really got in mind.
We know you'd rather be out fishing. And today's the day you're gonna wet a line. 'Cause every day's a good day.
Stop wishing.
Every day's a chance to drift away. Drift away.
Every day's a good day for fishing. See it down and tackle world today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing. We're talking fishing.
Well, this is Kramer's Mailbag, but it could also be Don't Get Me Started.
Oh, hello.
Here we go.
Bringing it back, are we?
Well.
There's a pointy bit to this,
We'll
obviously.
see.
Yeah, no.
Come on.
Graham's written to us.
Oh.
And I just...
Ruffled you.
Well, he has, because we have banged on a little bit politically in the last couple of weeks about boat ramps and why they need to come under one authority. Because this is what the council's done.
Yeah.
Remember I did that thing about, Rye and Took and Turidan, right?
Yeah,
so there's... You got Safety Beach and you got Sorrento. Rye in the middle's being reconstructed. Tutgarook's out of action being dredged. Tyrone, no one gives a stuff about. Right? So, well, Graham writes over here. Graham writes, "Hey Kramer and boys, did you know that Safety Beach boat ramp will be closed this weekend? So the car park can be used for a triathlon changeover area. The council have given a permit to close the ramp to a private organisation. That means no safety beach, no Tutgaruk, no Rye, no Tyrone ramps. It's going to be very busy at Sorrento this weekend. Now, we've banged on.
Unreal.
We have banged on for weeks.
Lycra wearing, vitamin C drinking.
Yes? No, we won't go on actually because it might...
Cut him off there, Dave.
Yeah. But seriously, we've banged on and I mean, I've made a bit of noise about it and probably got into a bit of trouble, but and I've said that, you know, the local politician doesn't give us stuff, and he doesn't. Well, now he's 700 votes behind. It looks like Labor will take the seat, and maybe we might get someone who cares in that area. But the local council have come out, page 2 of the local paper, slamming me and going, we're not handing our boat ramp over unless the state government give us a better deal. Well, it's not a deal. It's policy.
It's done.
It's state government policy. You're going to lose your boat ramps, mate. You know, and then you go and close Safety Beach for a triathlon. So that they can change from their Lycra to their Speedos.
We don't need you having a heart attack on live television.
Seriously. Does anyone give a damn about boat ramps in Victoria?
One boat ramp out of 5 open.
One
snapper season.
You've got to travel nearly 30 kilometres to a boat ramp, Charlie. This is we're not talking about the Baccanilla Cootie. We're talking about snapper season on Port Phillip Bay.
They just get too hard.
Don't get me started. All right, Daryl writes, "Hi guys, long-time viewer, love the show. Just wondering if the Alcoa Pier in Geelong could be used as a fishing platform. Pier seems to be unused these days, and it used to be the best pier to fish off in Geelong when you could get on it. Have tried a few venues, but no one seems interested in forming a club, whatever, associated around using the pier. Your thoughts?" I'm not familiar with it.
How come the pier's closed? Do you know?
Alcoa in Geelong.
I'm sure if Darren Lyons got in down there, it'd probably be open.
Because I've heard...
I think you got slaughtered too, Charlie.
I know.
I've heard the name, that Alcoa Pier. It's the boaties fish off the end of it, don't they?
We might get some info off Chris.
Some more info.
Yeah, that's
Chris
right.
would know. Let's get some info.
Just watch.
For you, in fact, it might be Daryl Lyon that's writing in. All right, Andy. He says, well, Labor in. When do we get free boat ramps? Andy wrote to us. Well, my tip is probably...
You said May, didn't you?
I said it'd be great to be by Easter, but I don't think it'll be until 1st of July.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, so that's realistically, I think 1st of July we can expect free boat ramps. But people, I can guarantee, I will guarantee, you will guarantee, we'll all guarantee the reputation of this show. You will not have to pay for boat ramps next snapper season. Guaranteed. There you go.
It will happen.
Lindsay writes in, "Hey Kramer, I watch your show for the fishing, not the..." I'll start again. Lindsay writes in, "Hey Kramer, I watch your show for the fishing, not the bloody politics. When this starts, I turn off."
He probably didn't get to this point.
They've been pretty good tonight.
Yeah, no, but he better turn off. He better turn off because we're about to look at the list. So anyway, if you'd like to write into Kramer's Mailbag, this is what you do.
Send your mail to Kramer's Mailbag, PO Box 734, Patterson Lakes, Victoria 3197, or email kramer@ifish.com.au.
Now, in all seriousness, boys, we haven't spoken politics.
We haven't.
And let's just gently talk about it. Daniel Andrews announced today his cabinet, and I reckon by tomorrow afternoon we'll probably know who the new Minister for Fisheries is. So.
You think we're going to get a new one?
Well, it could be Jala.
Yeah.
Well, she's in the mix, so yeah.
Cool. We voted that she's supposed to stay there, did we?
Oh, we did.
It was part of the deal.
The only thing is, if Jala gets back in, do we take that trophy back off her that we we presented?
We get a bigger one.
We swap it with an IX.
An IX 2000. That's a good trophy we gave her for being the best fisheries minister. But anyway, no, by tomorrow night we'll know. But we are going to have a quick look at what the Labor government did promise, because there's some sensational things to come up here. Look, they're going to abolish boat ramp fees. Yay.
Yep.
All boat rego and boat licence fees back into boating. That's $27 million. One single boat ramp authority, that'll get rid of the bloody councils. And yeah, well,
Your mate.
Your mate.
oh yeah, he's gone. But I tell you what, you'd have to write to Daniel Andrews to say, can I have a triathlon and change my lycra to speedos at
that's
Safety
right.
Beach when every other boat
Or
ramps?
waders.
Or waders, yeah. New 7 million, increased fish stocking to 10 million per year.
Yep.
A new $7 million native fish hatchery in Shepparton,
That's a
Charlie.
big deal.
Yep.
That, I know he started building the north-east link, but he should have started this by now.
We could take the dirt from there out to there and build the walls.
Are they still putting the MCG in it?
Yeah, we still have 13 of them.
Sweet.
17 of them.
I can't believe they're going to build a $100,000 stadium in the hatchery.
Yeah, I know.
Around. So we could have back up
choice,
because I was
I think.
actually reading. Oh, where over here?
Yeah.
I'm reading that. Compulsory buyout of the Gippsland Lakes netters. Now I know that the Gippsland Lakes netters have started a campaign to say we don't really need to abide by this because Tim Bull's a local member. Yeah, well, you're about to get a shock. Stock Melbourne and regional lakes with native fish.
That's cool.
Restore the Gippsland Lakes environment. They're going to do something about that. Stock Eastern King prawns
Put
in a
that
lake
to number
twice.
one. Put that to number one.
Can I just say, I've heard a rumour.
Oh.
Travis already ordered them.
Oh, hello.
Oh, the prawns.
Yeah, he's ordered the prawns.
Get excited, Charlie.
Charlie,
Road trip.
we saw it firsthand.
Road
didn't
trip.
we?
It's the best.
Road trip.
And
Got my sauce ready.
And the talk is, I mean, we shouldn't be talking about this on TV, but the talk is that people have been catching 80 centimetre mulloway, which is what Fisheries put in only 3 years ago.
Yeah. How good's that? That's a result.
They probably ate 2 million prawns. But anyway,
Smell a road trip coming on.
let's keep going on the list. We need to we need to have a look at the list again. Here we go. A fishing tourism campaign, $2.5 million of new artificial reefs in Port Phillip Bay. The Labor government will protect southern bluefin tuna from the federal government's proposed cuts. Now, some of the people at your breakfast this morning, Pauline Hanson turned up.
She did. And, well, we've had a change in the positions up there, shuffling of the cards. We've had Anne Ruxton, who is now, it's back to Richard Colbeck.
Oh, yeah.
Which comes under David Littleproud. So there's a change up there. So there's a change in attitude to the tuna.
To the southern bluefin tuna. All right, let's keep going with the list. Let's...
Bit on this
there
list.
it is. Yeah, there is. I know. Need a longer show. Allow electric-powered motor boats onto 6 Victorian water storages. Investigate boats to fish on Tarago and Devil Bend. We will get the Premier back on here in a year's time if we have not progressed Tarago, I can tell you.
Oh, down to there.
Yeah, no, we'll get... Yeah, if he hasn't progressed that, we'll get him back in here. Oh, no. Invest in more fishing platforms and fish cleaning tables. Introduce a Fishing for All program. Introduce recreational fishing number plates.
That's a fun one.
You can have Fish 01.
Fish, I want it.
Yeah. And allow access to Crown land that has grazing licences and river frontages. That's a fair
cool
list.
one too.
That's a bit of bigger fridge.
Yeah,
Who's
I
going to
know.
have the fridge this year to put the list on?
Oh, I've heard Jarla's ordered a smeg. No, one of those big, tall. There's no. Well, there's not on a smeg. You don't have a separate fridge and a freezer at the top. It's all one door.
Okay.
Just to fit the list. I've heard
That's
the
the
Jarla
smeg list.
The smeg Jarla's smeg
Jarla's
fridge
smeg.
list. Anyway, there you go. We're getting yelled at. Coming up next, Hotspots. Next on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
G'day, Callan here from Paul Worsling's Tackle World Cranbourne. Supercharged batteries have been supplying maintenance-free marine batteries since 2001. The Seamaster Gold range is second to none, delivering superior starting power and reserve capacity. No need to top up with water, truly a fit and forget battery. With up to 2 years replacement warranty, you know you have quality. Your battery is your lifeline. Without it, you're dead in the water because it's bloody hard to push start. I've got a Seamaster battery in my boat. Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And now the segment you've all been waiting for.
Hotspots, brought to you by Seamaster Batteries.
There you go. Maybe a few technical difficulties there because no one's talking to us and telling us what's going on. Apparently we're on Hotspots, so I tell you
Right, I get the pen and paper out, Hotspots.
Well,
Write it down.
it's kind of ticked over, boys. It's ticked over.
What do you mean?
Well, I reckon there is probably more people trying to target whiting now than snapper.
It's a big, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's kick it off. Point Wilson.
I don't know.
Point Wilson. Trelly down your way. Down near Trelly's Geelong.
Right in. Snapper or whiting. Where are you at?
King George whiting.
Yep.
They're just on the bite down there, I'm being told.
Yes,
Ivan and the boys have been down there, and they're just saying there's some good, big fat fish down at Point Wilson.
Yeah, it's Swan Bay area through to St Leonard's down there has been fishing.
Which is nowhere near Point Wilson. Yeah. If you look at the map on the screen, mate, it's
we got him.
nowhere near St Leonard's. Close to.
I'll say that's fishing well too with the whiting.
It's actually closer to Shepparton than St Leonard's.
Let me finish off.
All right, over on the other side, have a look at some big reports. I know Joe Farr has been fishing down there on his charters off Rye, and Michael Buxton got down there yesterday as well, just to top off the big snapper he got on Sunday.
A couple of kgs.
A lazy 20 King George whiting,
nice,
over 40 centimetres off Rye. So some massive fishing. I just think last year was a very tough season on the King George whiting. It just seems that there's an influx, they're good size, and a lot of people starting to change over.
A good time before all those smaller school whiting sort of pile in for the rest of summer. It's really not a bad time to chase.
Absolutely, Heading over to Western Port, Crawfish Rock would be the #1 hotspot for snapper right now. Hearing a lot of reports from up that top end.
Yeah, they're finally starting to chew with a little bit more consistency. It's been a bit up and down with water temperatures and such, but from what we heard through the shop, it's definitely...
Would I be right in saying bigger fish in Western Port still?
Yeah, definitely.
Much bigger, better class. So
I agree.
There you go. Down the southern end of Western Port, Crib Point, and there's some beautiful King George whiting coming from Crib Point at the moment.
Pretty.
Yeah.
You're really trying to get people switching over to King George whiting, aren't you?
Much. I had snapper for dinner on Sunday night. So boring. So boring. The crunchy beer batter was better than the... Anyway, they're good in the photo. So anyway, Murray Cod, Trelly.
Yep.
It is the opening of cod season this Saturday.
That's right.
And I just reckon if you went up to Murchison on the Goulburn River, you're in with a chance, aren't you?
Exactly. And you asked the question, why would we know about hotspots for Murray Cod before the opening of the season? So,
well, I've heard...
It's a fair question.
That's a fair question.
I know one person who's been camped there for 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So is Murchison a place you can fish land-based, or you're better off putting a tinny in or a kayak, preferably?
Both. From Murchison down through that Talamba area down to Shepparton's got some magnificent access.
Awesome.
Really, really good. So there's a few little boat ramps down there too, so you can fish out of a boat.
Beautiful.
There's no flow that I know of going down, so it's a really good, stable level.
Is that good for the? Is that good for the fishing?
It is, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it gives you that stable river height, and it just seems to settle everything down. So the fish is really. And look, the guys have been chasing yellow belly down there and catching a heap of spotted green yellow belly.
Yellow belly.
But it's been fishing excellent.
Good. Is that the area where your dad used to set springers with Travis Dowling's dad?
Yeah, that's
around that area.
They breathe the sigh of relief there. It's all good now.
It's all good, man. They've recovered nicely.
All right, the last one, Lake Nillacooty, Murray Cod, and some yellows coming from there, Charlie.
Yeah, now that's another one. Sort of, it's flown under the radar, and I've been getting these reports, sneaky reports. You know, the reports that you go, okay. That bloke's been, code word Eildon, but they're really going to Nillacooty. Yeah. So there's been some really good fish being caught, and they've been chasing yellow belly over there and catching some really good cod. And there's some good cod Nillacooty up to well over a metre long.
Nice. Now Nillacooty's just out of Mansfield.
Between Mansfield and Benalla.
Benalla, yeah. Yep. And quite often it looks a dirty lake, doesn't it? Like a reddy, browny.
Yeah, that little catchment area above Lake Nillacooty, a lot of that sort of like forested area and pine forest and things like that, so pine trees. So when you get a bit of a rain there, it tends to sort of wash off the roads and a little bit into the lake. So it does appear a little bit of a reddy, earthy colour sometimes, but certainly doesn't worry the fishing there.
The other thing is this weekend, boys, coinciding with the start of summer, coinciding with the start of cod season is also the Cod Classic.
Yeah, that's right.
Mulwala.
Yeah, that's right.
Normally, a couple of thousand entrants to that?
Yeah, minimum. Yeah, they've had up over 3,000 people there, so that's
massive.
Huge.
If you're heading up to there, Trelly, a couple of hints, what would you do?
A couple of hints, I'd probably stay off the drinks because you can lose your licence on the water. You can lose your licence on the land. It's all linked now, is it? So nobody probably going through all that. But look,
tip number one.
Really after some fishing tips.
Fishing tips. Yeah. Oh, okay. Let me back to my thoughts time. Yeah, look, it's just a bit of perseverance. Use your sounders, find your drop-offs and things, find your weed beds. There's going to be a lot of people on the water, but at the same time, it's just one of those games of chance, you know.
Yeah, so
if you're not out there doing
it can be a very monotonous comp, can't it? A lot of slow rolling big lures along the odd riverbeds and bits and pieces trying to find them.
Yeah, or just relaxing, sitting back with a bait and just taking in the antics at the boat ramps.
Remember last year there was a lot of rain.
Yeah.
And some boats tied up on. No, remember we had the photos. The boats tied up on the banks and they all filled and sunk.
Yeah, and I think the guy who actually won the comp fished the channel outlet on the other side of Lake Mulwala and he caught it off the bank. I might get it wrong last year, the year before, but it was certainly you got just as much chance fishing off the bank as you have.
Well, that's a good thing with freshwater, especially Murray Cod. They sit so close to the edges.
That's right.
And they'll sit in just skinny water. It obviously gets land-based access.
Yeah, exactly.
Really well.
Yeah. So it's that big channel that runs out and it goes through Finley and down through Jerilderie and those sort of areas. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Lovely place.
Yep. There you go. That's it for Talking Fishing. We hope you enjoyed the show. Next week, as mentioned, sorry, we didn't get to mention it. We have some
technical difficulties.
We had some technical difficulties before. We have some special guests in the studio from Transport Safety Victoria as Water Safety Week is upon us. It's nearly summer, it's nearly cod season, and it's time to go fishing. Until we see you again next Tuesday on Talking Fishing. Trelly, Ads, stay safe in the water and enjoy your fishing.
I will.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. We got all you need, just take a look. Watch those fish jump on your hook. So just relax and take your time. Enjoy the show, then drop us a line. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing.
Have a good weekend, Mr. Walker.
You too, son.